How's it going, guys? Cody guys back again, dropping yet another video. Right guys, I wasn't planning on dropping another vlog. I dropped the one earlier about reaching 1,800 subscribers, which much love to you guys for your support, your messages and stuff like that. As you all know, guys, you all know that you've seen me on this channel read letters from serial killer Ian Brady. Obviously I wrote to him not to support him, but I grew up with a fascination with serial killer gangs and gangster documentaries, right? And went on to be involved with all of the above. Whilst tonight I was flicking through my Twitter feed, another serial killer that I actually used to correspond with, a gay serial killer by the name of Dennis Nilsen. I used to correspond with Nilsen. We used to swap quite a lot of messages and stuff, letters and everything. He was locked up at HMP Full Sutton, which is it's a Category A prison or a maximum security prison near York and stuff, in East Riding of Yorkshire. He was on the lifers wing and stuff. He'd been there for a very, very long time. And like I say, you can see from the beginning of the video, there's a picture of one of the many letters that I received from Nilsen. I don't actually know where the rest of the letters are. I don't know if I've disposed of them, or I don't know if they're in the attic. I'm not sure. There's a lot. I've got a lot of paperwork from my life and stuff, whether it from when I was involved with criminality, my police paperwork, prison paperwork, letters. Like I say, I've got letters from Mairead Philpott, who's not actually classed as a serial killer, but she killed her kids, set the house on fire with her husband Mick Philpott, which murdered the children. You all know about Ian Brady and stuff. Obviously the letters, you see me reading the letters further down my timeline. Stephen Port, the Grinder Killer, another gay serial killer. And like I say, Dennis Nilsen, Dennis Andrew Nilsen, you can see the pictures from the start of the video. I'll give you a quick, brief summary of Nilsen and stuff from Wikipedia and stuff. Dennis Nilsen, born the 23rd of November 1945, is a Scottish serial killer and necrophiliac. Necrophiliac, for those that don't know, means he had sex with dead bodies. Also known as the Muswell Hill murderer or the Kindly killer, who murdered at least 12 young men in a series of killings committed between 1978 and 1983 in London. He was convicted of 6 counts of murder and 2 counts of attempted murder at the Old Bailey. Nilsen was sentenced to life imprisonment on November the 4th, 1983. This was like 6 weeks before I was actually born, right? With a recommendation that he serves a minimum of 25 years. He was incarcerated at HMP Full Sutton maximum security prison near York in the East Riding of West Yorkshire. Span of crimes 1978 till the 26th of January 1983. He was arrested on the 9th of February 1983. I remember the arrest and stuff like that because obviously the documentary. He used to burn the bodies and stuff. The murders happened between 2 properties. That he was in the army for a long time. He was also a policeman, and then I think he worked at a job centre as well. And what he did, he ended up flushing the body parts that were small, like the fingers and stuff and toes and stuff. He used to flush down the toilet, but he lived in a flat within a block, right, in Muswell Hill. And there was a blockage, right, and this dino rod or something came. These are like drain specialists, and they actually found fingers with the knuckles attached and stuff. They obviously told the police and stuff, and then when Nilsen arrived home, he was arrested by the police and stuff, and he came clean and stuff on interview. So yeah, he was arrested on the 9th of February 1983. So I was like 2.5 years old at this age. All of Nilsen's murders were committed between 2 North London addresses in which they alternatively resided throughout the years. He is known to have killed his victims. They were below to an address through guile and were all murdered by strangulation, sometimes accompanied by drowning. Following the murder, Nilsen would observe a ritual in which he bathed and dressed his victims' bodies, which he retain for extended periods of time before dissecting and disposing of the remains via burning on a bonfire or flushing bits down the toilet, as I've alluded to. Nilsen became known as the Muswell Hill murderer, as his later murders were committed in Muswell Hill in North London. He also came to be known as the Kindly killer in reference to his belief that his method of murder was the most humane. Nilsen was described as the British Jeffrey Dahmer. And then it goes on to his early life and stuff. His granddad was his role model. His father was a Norwegian soldier. His father travelled down from Norway into Scotland, met his mother, Elizabeth White. They got together and stuff. They was married in 1942. The marriage, during that few years, they had 3 children. He was the second born, Nilsen. And like I say, the marriage then broke down. His most vivid memories and stuff in his early life were we'd been in with his granddad. They used to go on these big walks and stuff, big coastal walks and stuff, and down the harbour and stuff in Fraserburgh in Scotland, where he was born. In 1951, his father, who was a fisherman and stuff, he went out to sea and he actually died out there and stuff. His body was then brought back, obviously, to Scotland and stuff. And this is where Nilsen's life fell apart, and he had an affinity with water. He nearly drowned himself, and I was actually pulled out. And he actually wrote a book called The Drowning Boy. The manuscript, I believe someone's got the manuscript. I don't have it. About this incident and stuff. And like I say, when he died, when his granddad died and stuff, it had a profound effect on Nilsen and stuff. And like I say, when he was when he went on to obviously commit his crimes and stuff after moving to London and stuff, he was a police officer. He'd been in the army. Whilst he was in the army, he was a chef, right, and learned butchery skills and stuff. So then obviously that would help him when he came to dissecting the bodies. When he obviously later transpired that he went on to commit these murders and stuff. I used to write to him, and like I say, very, very, like people. When I first wrote to Nilsen, I actually angered him because he was the first ever serial killer that I actually wrote to, right? And I asked about 40 odd questions, right? And there was just questions. There was no talk. There was no massaging his ego. I just pretty much was like, it was like an inquisition. He wrote back to me and said, Cody, your letter was part autobiography, part inquisition. Your 40 odd questions and everything else like that. And I was like, shit, right? So I left it like a few months, and then I thought, you know what, I'm going to go again. So I wrote to him again, same name and everything, right? And he wrote back and stuff. And that was the first letter that I received from him. No, the second letter that I received from him was the one that you see at the beginning of the video. And then after that and stuff, he said, oh, I won't be able to have you as a regular correspondence and stuff. But because I angered him in the first letter, I sent him a postal order. As you know, guys, I've sent postal orders to Brady, to Mairead Philpott and stuff like that. When you're trying to get to know these people, guys, you've got to massage their ego and stuff like that. And money is something that talks the world over. So I sent him a postal order, which he received and stuff, and he acknowledges at the beginning of the letter, as you can see. The blanked out bits, guys, that's just a personal thing between me and Nilsen and stuff. So I'm not going to make that public. So I've blurred that out, and you can see it at the beginning of the video. He used to type prior and stuff like that, and a lot of people couldn't understand why. Whilst he was typing and stuff, eventually he actually died. And he used to write me handwritten letters and stuff, which is very rare that he used his own hand. He'd like to type and then sign it. But like I said, he was having problems with the prison governor and stuff, and they wouldn't allow him to have his typewriter because it was broke. And then he was like, look, you can't have one sent in because security and stuff like that. So he was having serious problems and stuff. Very, very narcissistic, very self-loathing, very intelligent, very above people, used to talk in riddles, like had ideas of grandeur and stuff. If you look at the bottom of the letter, he talks about when he first joins the army, and he sort of like, he said, and then at the end he says this wasn't true. So like I say, and even when he was arrested, they said, oh, 15 murders. They attributed 3 other men to Nilsen, and Nilsen, because of the continuity of the evidence, he actually said, yeah, I killed 15. And he just went along with it. And there's all documentaries online and stuff, guys. He used to have budgery guys as well, budgies. He used to actually have budgies in his cell and he used to look after them and stuff. You see interviews with him online and stuff. I'm going to download them and put a couple on my channel so you guys can check it out. Like I say, I don't support these people. I was a thick unacademic street kid growing up, yeah. If I would have been academic, my interest in criminology, forensic psychology, I would have taken that up. But like I said, I wasn't academic in school, so I went down the criminal route, didn't I? And like I say, my interest in gangs and gangsters and serial killers, I went on to be involved with all of the above. Mairead Philpott wanted children with me. Ian Brady trusted me and wanted me to do security at his funeral, but obviously it wasn't a genuine offer and stuff. like I say, with Brady, I had an agenda. I wanted to see if he would divulge the location of Keith Bennett's body. With Mairead Philpott, I just wanted to see if she was remorseful. With Nilsen had sort of thrown his hand in. There was nothing to be gained, but I found him interesting and stuff. I'd watched Jeffrey Dahmer, who was a gay serial killer over in America and stuff. He was a necrophiliac, and he used to cannibalize and stuff like that. Sort of similar to Nilsen. And like I say, Nilsen again was a necrophiliac. He'd drown them, he'd bathe them, he'd dress them, he'd have sex with them, he'd lay with them in his bed, he'd put them in the chair and stuff like that. And like I say, so it's very similar between Dahmer and Nilsen and stuff. The crimes and there was very similar and stuff like that. And like I say, Nilsen was known as the British Jeffrey Dahmer, right? Which is obviously not a good tag to have and stuff. But like I say, guys, I'm interested why these people commit these crimes and stuff. And like I say, as a not academic person, what's the best way to find out about these people? Write to them. I don't support these people. You won't see me sticking up for them or anything. Like I say, Andrew Nilsen, it's been declared tonight that he's died in his cell at HMP Full Sutton near York and stuff, like I say. So that's the end of it. But another serial killer that I've corresponded with has died, guys. If I find any more pictures, guys, I'll make sure to do another vlog and put the pictures up. But it's late at night and the boxing's on. So I'm going to catch the boxing, and then tomorrow I'll go through my paperwork and see if I can find the letters. Right, guys, on that note, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll speak to you all soon. Cody out.